Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizzano, and this is another episode of the world famous The University Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call this show Online Marketing Moves. And we are coming to you live today. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? How are you? How are you? Ladies and gentlemen, today, very important, and that is deep thinking, long-term thinking. Are you thinking about your business in the next year, the next 2 years? Where do you see yourself? Where are you driving this ship to? Where do you want to go? What course do you want to take? What actions do you want to take? Ladies and gentlemen, having a game plan is very important. Ladies and gentlemen, now listen, I know in the beginning, if you're in the beginning stages, I know you might be like a ship. Have you ever seen a ship that's in shallow water? Doesn't move very well, okay? When I was in the Navy, we used to have to we could never fire up the boat. This is a pretty big boat. It's not like a boat you haul with your pickup truck. You know what I mean? But we would get pulled out far away from the city of San Diego. We would get pulled out a certain foot, and then all systems would go. Then the boat would run excellent. You know what I'm saying? But we fired it up a little bit. They pulled us out, and then once we got to a deep enough water, that's when we took off. And so sometimes when you start off, you don't really know where you want to go. You kind of like a rudderless boat. But the more you dive into this, and the more you figure things out, and you figure which way do you want to go, where do you want to go, where do you want to take your business, what kind of business, everything like that, little details, major details, minor details, you need to have eventually you want to have everything running succinctly, and the end goal for all of us, everybody listening to this, anybody listening to the sound of my voice, the end goal for you, end goal for me, end goal for all of us is to have a business that's run like a well-oiled machine. Now, we all know there are going to be things that happen, blah, 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 blah. The beauty about having a business, the beauty about the internet, the beauty about content, creating content, the beauty about all this stuff is you let's say you create a product for yourself, PDF, a workbook, a course, or whatever. Let's say you wake up and you have 3 sales. Somebody found you, from the SEO, from your app or whatever, and you got 3 sales, and you're like, man, I'm making money while I'm not away from the business. That's a machine that is running well, and that is the end goal. That is what you're looking for, because the stock market is cool. The stock market is great. Don't get me wrong. You should definitely invest in rental properties, stock markets, energy, oil, whatever. It does not matter. You should always invest in that stuff. But for me personally, the best thing that I know I can do is have my business running like a well-oiled machine, because I know it does not matter the economy, does not matter the inflation, does not matter. I will have the business down pat to where you make money, because you will always make money in your business if you run it correctly. Okay, if you have the right customer service, if you have this, that, the other, you will, you can't I give you an example. You know how I don't know about you, but when I was 23, 24, my parents, for some reason, they started wanting to go to Applebee's, and Applebee's, Applebee's for a lot of years they got away with having decent food at a decent price. It was okay. It wasn't nothing. I wasn't gonna come to you the next day and be like, man, I ate at Applebee's, dog. Like, no, we weren't gonna have that discussion. Applebee's was okay. It was average to above average, and for many a year they got away with that, But now there's been a revolution in food, like people want fresh food, people want all this different stuff, and Applebee's, they never really changed the menu too much. It's still kind of bland, kind of average to above average, and people don't want that, not for the prices that they're paying for food, and so Applebee's is kind of, especially since the time I live in Atlanta, Applebee's have slowly disappeared, from the landscape. There used to be a lot of Applebee's. Now it's very few, and it's sort of disappeared, because of the quality of the food, Nothing in the world has changed. It's just people want better quality food, and Applebee's never matched that. And so, if you have a business that changes with the times, has great customer service, has a great rapport, has great food, quote unquote, then you will never, does not matter, today, tomorrow, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, you will always be around, you will always have a chance to make money, Now, some businesses just sort of fade out. It's like Kmart, I don't know if you ever shopped at Kmart, but a certain demographic probably has. I'm 42. I grew up with Kmart. If you don't know what Kmart is, you can look it up. You can Google it. It was a store. So Kmart was around before Walmart was around. So there you go. That's a little fun fact for you. And but Kmart never really changed with the times, you know what I mean? And then you would go to Kmart and it was always kind of dirty, always kind of, And so I remember when I first started driving, it was Kmart's was still popping, but then slowly but surely it was just, they fade into the background. So, you have a business. If you have a business that's on point, if you're doing critical thinking, if you're doing the thinking that you need to think, thinking ahead, then your business will always be afloat. Your business will always be up to par. And this is why you need to plan things out, plan things ahead, have a game plan, have a real game plan. And like I said, I know in the beginning, like me, like I know the type of person I am. I have to just get started with things, and then we figure things out. And that's just me, because the more I sit there and think about it, I overthink, I overanalyze, and I would never do anything. So I just have to get started, and then once I get started, then I'm like, all right, now we're here. What's the game plan, And I've now figured that out, and lately this month has just been like a lot of clarity going on, and I know where I want to go, and I know where I'm headed, and I'm like, all right, now we're ready. Now we're gonna get started. Like we've been started. I made some strides. I made some bucks. I made some dough, but not sustainable. Not what I want. You know what I mean? And so you might be the same way, or you might be a person that says, all right, I know this is what I want to do. This is where I'm going to go. This is where I'm going to go. That's great too. Either way, it doesn't matter which way you skin it. Just get the job done. Get your business up and running, and get to the point where you can, wake up and, maybe let's say you're sick one day and you have all the emails uploaded, you have everything uploaded, and you still generate like $900 that day. That's wonderful. That's what you're looking for. Like, you want to think ahead like that. That's the kind of thinking you want to do. You want to be steps ahead of the game. You don't want to. I'll tell you a mistake that I used to make, and I've corrected that mistake. One of the mistakes I made was when I first started doing emails. I would sit down every day and write one email, which is not the smartest thing to do. You should, figure out what kind of emails you want to write, and write them as much, write them in advance. Write them like a week, 2 weeks. If you can get it to where it's like a month or two in advance, then do that. So that way, because things happen. Let me tell you something. Things happen, and before you know it, it goes a day, 2 days, a week, 2 weeks, a month. You haven't did an email, and it's like, I gotta sit down and do this. But if you take a weekend, let's say you take 2 or 3 hours, and you knock out 5 emails. That's a week. That's a week's worth. Try that in the beginning, and then come back, and do it. Or if you can spend 3 or 4 hours, you can knock out 10 emails. That's 2 weeks. Then you come back a week later, you knock out 2 more weeks worth of emails. That's a month. If you can just keep doing that, and the more stuff that you can put in bulk, the better off you will be, and it definitely will help you. That was something that hurt me with the email in the beginning, but now I've lesson learned, and with the podcast, I do those. Sometimes I record, and lately I haven't been able to record in bunches, but in the beginning I was smart, and I could record like a week ahead of time. I would record, let's say it would be a Tuesday, and I would record for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I would knock those out, and it only took like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I would record and have them all done, have them up, and then I would upload each one of them that day. And so, they would just come every day, and it helped a lot. And I'm gonna get back to that, because I know the last few months with the baby and everything like that, I've been a little inconsistent, but it just happens sometimes. But I don't want to be inconsistent. In order to be great, you can't be inconsistent. So we are going to not be as inconsistent as we've been. But that's just life. You learn things. And so, you want to do a lot of, and the more deep thinking you do, the better off your business will be. And to help with the deep thinking, you need to not have so many distractions in your life. You don't need to be on social media all day. You don't need to be on the YouTube all day. Really hone in on yourself. Really focus in on yourself. Really figure out, hey, this is what I want to do. I haven't watched the NFL playoffs. I've decided not to watch the NFL playoffs because I really want to focus on me. And you have to think about this sometimes. If you have this in mind, and it's not a jealousy thing, it's not anything like that. I was watching the game one day, and I was like, I need to really write, and I was like, well, the game is kind of good. And then I said to myself, these guys are getting paid right now, and I'm just sitting here watching like an idiot and not getting paid when I could be writing. And the article that I write, because you never know. There's one thing about writing. You never know which article is going to be the $1 million article. You know what I mean? You never know which article is going to put you on the map. And so maybe I'm missing out. Maybe it's not going to be the $1 million article. But how do I know that? All right. And so I just got up and I started writing. I said, That's the attitude that I need more often, you know. We get caught up in watching games. We get caught up in our old habits, you know. We get caught up in our old ways. But you want to stay away from that, you know, as much as possible. And you want to handle your business. And you want to focus on you. And so the less distractions you have from the social medias, the all this stuff, you know. It could be people that distract you. The less you have from that, the more you're able to focus on your business, and the better off you will be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, go out, have a good time, do some deep thinking, really focus this weekend. Today's Thursday, so focus this weekend on where you want to go, what you want to do, and let me know. You can always email me at tony@onlinemarketingmoves.com if you want to chit chat. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back tomorrow with an all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening, and as always, everybody, peace.